Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for coming out again to Cues on the Move, the podcast of the Second District Fatherhood Initiative and Mentoring Committee. Our goal is to spread information, to increase access to resources, and to promote mentoring because we absolutely believe that mentoring works. Our fraternity, the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, has a strict commitment to mentoring both men and boys. Tonight, we're going to be dealing with a topic focused on our mental health and engaging us in access to different resources that help us in a variety of different ways. My name is Matt Stevens. I am the host for this evening. I'm the chairperson for New Jersey for the Mentor and Fatherhood Committee. And today I have two phenomenal brothers that are joining me. I have a third that will be joining later on, but I'm going to be introducing them just by their names and giving them an opportunity to introduce themselves as regards to their positions. But our focus this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is on mental health and specifically on erasing the stigma of therapy for Black men and boys. The research that we've done from the fraternity perspective indicates that Black males in high school, college, and sometimes even in the middle school are showing increased rates of depression, anger, anxiety, and we're starting to see now also increases in suicide in this population. So the Omega Psi Phi Incorporated is interested in looking at what we can do to eliminate some of those problems. So, brothers, I want to introduce Brother Ron Williams and Brother James Whitaker. Brother Whitaker, I'll start with you. Could you just tell us a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do?
All right, my name is Brother Whitaker, Cog Salon, Fall 17. I'm a licensed therapist in the state of New Jersey. I work primarily, I have a private practice in the state of New Jersey, but my primary work is out of a hospital in the Woodbury area. And technically, my lights just went out. Sorry. Um, give me a minute. There we
No
go.
problem.
So, I'm a licensed therapist. I see patients daily.
We have some technical problems with the mic on for Brother Whitaker. So what we'll
In
do,
trouble, this often cause. Oh, just went out. Um, I primarily see patients Monday through Friday at a hospital that deals with a range of mental health from anxiety to depression to multiple personalities. So that's basically what I do: assess, diagnose, and help them develop positive coping skills.
that sounds like a winner, man. That's some great work that
Yes.
you're doing. Are you working with teenagers or adults?
I work range from um, let's say 10 years of age to my oldest patient is about 70, 78.
Gotcha. All right, well, we'll definitely be back with you in a couple of minutes. Brother Williams.
Yeah, so Ron Williams, Spring 96, went over at Nu Beta Beta, now part of Delta Upsilon. Currently, my primary business is I'm a certified financial planner, but my love is yoga and meditation. I have a 200-hour registered yoga teacher, so I went through 200 hours of training to become a yoga teacher. I've done a 10-day Vipassana, which is basically silent meditation for 10 days. And I love yoga and I love meditation. Those are two things that I have a passion for, and those are two things that I like to share with other people. I've shared it with many people. Very few of those people, if any, are Black men who are interested in yoga or meditation. But I would like to get that message across to more of us, because when you move a muscle, you change your thought. And that's really important.
Oh, that's phenomenal, brother. You mentioned something really important. You indicated that in the work that you do, you're one of the few Black men in the business, and you see very few Black men participating in yoga. What are they missing?
I think what a lot of Black men consider yoga to be is something for women. They think it's mostly women in yoga pants doing yoga, but yoga is breath. It's breathing. If you ever look at someone who gets angry, their breath, how they breathe changes. It becomes very agitated, very high, very repetitive breathing. So yoga is breathing first, and then the postures or the asanas come second. So learning to control your breath or learning to control your body, which you can also use to control your mind through meditation, is really super important, because the mind and the body are so interconnected, that it's important to have both those pieces. And I think a lot of men, Black and white, really struggle with, or they don't really understand how that really works. They think working out should always be lifting weights or doing something along those lines. But yoga can can burn a lot of calories in an hour, and can really help you mentally deal with life overall. Because if you start a day, let's say, practicing yoga and doing meditation, and you do that on a daily basis, it strengthens your body and it also strengthens your mind, because it prepares you for the day ahead. And if you close out your day with meditation, like some people close out their daily prayer, I think my own personal opinion is that you're protecting your mind and you're protecting yourself from so many thoughts coming across your mind. Because if you look at, like, for instance, social media, if you look at a phone, an iPhone, there are so many things that you look at during the day. So many different ideas and thoughts come across your mind. Meditation, what that does, it helps slow that down and empties your mind and gives you a sense of presence, of being present where you are. And a lot of times we're not present exactly where we are. We're always swiping left or swiping right. We're always moving, and our mind doesn't have a chance to change. One person told me, like, your mind is like a dog without a leash. It'll just run wild. So you have to learn through meditation, I believe, to control your mind and control your thoughts. Somebody once said, don't always believe everything you think, but always try and get a better control of how you think. Brother Whitaker, what do you think about that?
Oh man, I'm sitting here listening to you, and a lot of the things that you're saying is that we kind of prescribe in therapy, especially with the deep breathing. When patients are dealing with, let's take anxiety for instance. When patients are experiencing like a lot of anxious thoughts or anxious feelings, or the anxiety is coming in strong, one of the go-to methods is, deep breathing. You want to take some deep breaths, count to 10, slow your thoughts down, and then regain control of your thoughts. It's almost like a stop-start method. When you get a lot of those intrusive thoughts, a lot of those things that would generate the panic, you wanna like take it in, take a couple deep breaths, stop the intrusive thoughts, and then replace those intrusive thoughts with something positive.
Right.
But I'm also a big fan of guided meditation. That was something a couple years ago that I was able to experience, with the guided deep breathing and the thoughts, and, tightening up your muscles and relaxing the different parts of your body.
Yeah.
When you say that a lot of Black men don't experience that, you're right. Because I was happy to be a part of a work group. I was the only person of color there, but it was something that I really benefited from. So yoga, what you're talking about, can be a great asset to someone that is, experiencing some severe mental health issues because of the deep breathing exercise. So on our hand, even with the psychiatrists and the APNs, deep breathing and controlling your breathing is one of the go-to forms that we always prescribe. So I'm definitely on board with that.
Exactly. And there's so many different forms of yoga. I mean, just the other night, I was at a yoga class, and the teacher brought in 4-7-8 yoga, 4-7-8 breathing. You inhale for 4, hold, and you hold for 7, and you exhale for 8. So you breathe in for 4, hold for 7, and then exhale for 8. And it's such a simple technique, right? And it was something that I was able to just remember, just like that, 4-7-8. And I remember using a similar technique on a plane one day before we were at Newark Airport, and I started doing some breathing meditation. And next thing I know, I fell asleep and we were landing. So, I mean, meditation is something that is, I think that it's something that has been given to us and that we don't use. There's so many tools that we have for mental health, and then we don't use them, and they're freely given.
But here's the thing though, you know, you're right when you start talking about the iPhones and everything. This is a microwave world that we're entering, and then everybody wants something to happen instantly. So
Right. Can you still hear?
Yeah, Brother Whitaker, you froze up, bro. Yeah.
all right, there we go. I'm
Yeah,
back.
can you
Keep
repeat
going.
that? Yeah, you froze up a little bit. Yeah.
Yes. So like this is like a instant world that everybody wants something right here and right now. So what I've noticed is that people are coming in and they're looking for doctors to prescribe medication that's going to work instantly, and then it has a cross effect because a lot of this medication that they want is highly addictive.
Mm.
So they want instant gratification, but then the consequences to these instant gratification is the risk of developing an addiction.
Yeah.
With the benzodiazepines, for the anxiety.
Mhm.
That for anybody don't know about benzodiazepines, those are the Xanax, the Klonopins. Those are the things that people are using, especially when you mentioned flying. That because of the anxiety that people have with flights, they
Mhm.
want something that's going to hit them quick, hit them hard, but then it becomes that go-to versus the guided breathing, the imagery breathing,
Mhm.
meditation. So it's great. But I think here, like seeing Black men coming into therapy. So I think that's one of the main topics here. In my field, I don't see that. I don't see too many license because I'm a licensed therapist,
Mhm.
that are Black men that are in my field, um, men of color,
Mhm.
and I think that's one of the main issues that when Black men come into, they want to talk to someone who can identify with what they're going
Mhm.
through. Some like the way we were brought up, some things I don't consider abuse. My mom lit my butt up, my pop lit my butt up. But then you have some races that will look at the way I was reared as a child. To them, they would call that abusive. To another
Mhm.
Black man, that's just men not being able to relate. That's how we learn to respect our elders.
Right.
Um, and I think when Black men come into an environment like that, and they get someone who doesn't understand the culture,
Right.
um, they tend to back away from treatment,
Right.
because they don't feel that connection. You're looking for someone that you can connect with, and I think if they had more people that look like them when they enter
Right.
to treatment, that we would have higher rates of Black men coming in.
Right.
Um,
That'd be great. I think Brother Brown is on his way in. If Brother Darius can pull up the videotape, uh, it was a phenomenal tape I got. Are you guys familiar with the movie The Shy?
Mhm.
mhm,
Well, in any event, they have a number of areas where young Black men are in just life. And one situation is where a young man is in therapy, but he has a white female therapist, and she's not really relating to where he's coming from. And
mhm,
so he's is a little agitated, but the mother did not have any options. Um, a lot of times I receive calls consistently about boys and their mother wanting to put them in some type of therapy, and it's hard to find Black male therapists to engage them. And so, Brother Whitaker, when I got the information from you, man, I know you have a ton of work to do tonight, but if you keep messing with me, you gonna have a ton more because I have a whole bunch of Black boys that could benefit, I think, from kind of hearing from you and just engaging you because you understand their life and their life experiences. Ron, I would ask the question from a teenager perspective. how can yoga and meditation assist teenagers or even younger boys in their daily struggles or their daily life?
Yeah, I think that like if I look back on my teenage years, right, those are some of the most anxious years of my life. Those are some of the years where you're going through, so many different things are going on, so many different people are pushing and pulling against you, and you have so many decisions to make. And you have to, if you're a young man and you're doing, let's say you're learning the practice of yoga, and especially if you're learning meditation, I think it kind of helps you to slow down everything that's going on around you, and it helps you to make better decisions. And I think, you know, I believe that meditation really can help you just slow down the thoughts, and you don't believe everything you think. So I think that's, if I could put it that way, I think the universe. This may sound kind of weird, but I believe there's infinite intelligence within the universe, and by meditation, you're able to tap into that. Especially if a young man is looking to make decisions and he doesn't have a mentor, he doesn't have someone to really help him. By learning meditation, doing it on a daily basis, he can gain greater control of his mind and greater control of his life.
Got you. Dr. Whitaker, you had
Can I
mentioned.
piggyback?
Yeah.
Yes, brother.
I just wanted to piggyback off of what Brother Williams was saying. Also, for the teenagers with the meditation, it helped quiet their mind, right? And dealing with self-esteem issues. Like
Mm.
you talk about those years, um, let's say from 12 to 18. Now let's those some big pretty horrible years if you're out of shape, if you're heavyweight, or if you're really dark skinned. Um, Teenage kids could be really brutal, right?
Mhm.
So, when you're dealing with somebody that's dealing with some self-esteem issues, because those are the high suicide rates amongst teenagers. You know, meditation helps them to quiet those negative thoughts, right? And you learn to with the deep breathing to replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts, right? So they're able to increase their self-esteem. So, you know, I see that as being a great tool for teenagers and how to help them, because you know how many kids that I've talked to like in the last year who are suicidal, who wanted to hurt themselves, kids that have to be 302 or committed because they self-harm, because of being teased or bullied by other kids.
Mm.
I can see if they knew how to slow that thought process down and change it. I can see it could reduce a lot of that inpatient um, with the young kids.
Mm.
Somebody was wanted to ask me a question.
Yes, I was
Okay.
basically speaking about that specifically about the increase in suicide. When I was growing up, it may have been a thing, but I didn't really know anyone who attempted to kill themselves that was in my peer group. But I'm starting to hear more and more and more now, where in our mentoring activities, uh, we've had a number of young people who have had uh, made attempts. Thank God no one has succeeded, but we've had a number of them make attempts. And I wanted to ask, what can the mentor program be doing to help more? And what is some advice that you can give to the parents?
Well, all right. So we can kick it now. So, what I've learned. Believe this or not, I I don't know what's been happening. It's just that my success rate with adolescents has been like really high. Um, I think I connect. I don't know what am I doing that's so successful with the kids. And it was said to me, I talk to them like they're people. So you don't talk at them or talk down to them, but talk to them like their opinions really matters. Like what they share and what they say, their input really it can make a difference. So when they feel that connection coming from the mentor, um you already bridge. Like in our fraternity we talk about building bridges, right? And we build our bridge through experience, strength, and hope. One person speaking with another and sharing where we're at. When we do that with the adolescents, believe it or not, you realize that they have a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge, um, for where we were at their age,
Hmm.
right? So I think, you know, letting them know that what they say and feel matters will give you so much of a impact. You
That's
know,
good stuff.
and you, if you want to establish rapport, building friendship. You know, like our fraternity, friendship is essential to the soul. We It's not just with cues, right? We have to take that same concept and really apply it to anybody, to where we meet, and like establish that rapport, establish that friendship, and believe it or not, they will tell you more. You know, they will tell you what's going on in their lives. They have to feel that connection, and
Absolutely.
that's been my success.
Well, Brother Brown has just joined us, and at the absolute best time. This brother has a long history. We'd be all night for me reading his bio, but the two things I want to really kind of point out is he has an established record as a athlete, a professional college. He did it at the highest levels on each area in high school, All American. Uh, um, Notre Dame wide receiver, starting wide receiver, and Green Bay Packers. So he did it at every single level. Got out of the NFL, went to Columbia Law School, got his law degree. Now he's a lawyer. And in his spare time, he just took the Pop Warner football team to the championship. And so I don't know where this brother gets the time to do it all, but I know that he is engaging young people on a consistent basis. So, Brother Brown, I'm going to ask you to put your cap on as it relates to Pop Warner football and what you're seeing with the young men. All of us can pretty much remember when we were kids and we played Pop Warner football, and the coach could grab our face mask and twist it or put his finger in our chest and, engage us in that perspective. In conversations with you we've had in the past, kids have changed where you're not able to use those techniques anymore. Spread some thoughts on what are your thoughts with young people at the Pop Warner level as it relates to mental health and how you think mental health therapy can help some of those young people.
Yeah, thank you, brother. And apologies, a slightly delayed. I just came from track practice. I am definitely blessed to have the opportunity to spend time with kids and be in their lives. Slight correction. Thank you for the introduction. Amazing introduction. Slight correction. It's my brother, who's also the Bruz, Zeta Psi Spring 88, who went to Columbia Law School. I went to Notre Dame Law, and then I'm a Yale MBA. So he's the Columbia guy. I'm the Yale guy. Both the Bruz, though. I only a slight correction since he's the Columbia man. In terms of Pop Warner and what we are trying to accomplish with the kids in this day and age, where kids are much more likely to say something like, "Hey, you're not my daddy," or "You can't put your hands on me." It's a challenge, to be honest, because the men that put their hands on me in a correction format, like, a corrective format to put me in a headlock or to give me corporal punishment, I look at as my own fathers, like father figures. They saved my life. They taught me that through discipline and doing things the right way and carrying yourself a certain way to represent not only this program, not only your own family, but little black boys that don't have an opportunity to go compete in some track meet, some football program, some football game, or some basketball program. They taught me that you have an obligation. And so it is a challenge, but at the same time, if you are sincere about your intentions and you communicate with the parent or the parental figure, whoever that might be, grandparent, auntie, sometimes it's a big brother, big sister that is serving in that role as essentially the caregiver to that child. I'm sincere with them, and I just tell those who are whoever brings that child to the park, let me have a conversation with you. This is what I do. This is how I do it. This is why I do it. And if it's out of bounds for you, then maybe the program for you. Because I don't think you can love, you can't love half-heartedly. So I just go all in, man, and pour myself. And I talk to the person who's in charge of caring for them and say that I'm probably going to be a little out of bounds when it comes to today's age of discipline. But at the same time, it's going to be all out of love. Now, that does not mean I can take out the board and do what some of them coaches did to me. Lord have mercy. Oh, man, I just had a moment of a flashback. And thank God they did it for me. I can't do that in 2022. Authentic about why I'm doing what I'm doing. And to be honest with you, it's its own form of therapy because it is friendship, as my brother Whitaker said. It is like, you know, we as brothers say friendship is essential to the soul. It's a form of friendship. It's a form of love, as we talk about its intrinsic value of as a part of friendship is love. And so when you do it, you know, from the depths of your heart, it's its own form of therapy. It's its own form. I'm not a therapist trained or licensed, but I am a coach, and I am pouring into them the love that someone poured into me. And it works, man. And kids will look at you with this look as though they are amazed, like they just opened their favorite present on Christmas because they have gotten the gift of love. And I'm blessed to be in a position, man. Like I said, I just came from track practice. I coach football, I coach basketball, and you can see kids respond to it. Does that mean you don't have bumps in the road, especially in 2022, when kids feel as though they're entitled to express their own opinion? They're entitled. You know, someone at track practice today told me, "Well, I don't want to do it that way," and it took all the powers of the man above for me to communicate the right way. It's like, you know, in this world, in order to get where you want to get, you can't just do what you want to do. Sometimes you got to do what you have to do. And you have to do it this way because this is what the coaches have established as our guidelines. And so, no, not a trained therapist, but through loving them by way of coaching, it is its own form of therapy.
Brothers, this is phenomenal because and this is exactly what we wanted to kind of get together and have this kind of conversation. And we're going to have this conversation when we meet up for our district conference on April the 30th. And we'll have a room full of young people. We'll be engaging them and be using all the resources that we have. Darius has let me know that the clip is ready. I want to show this clip and I want to get each of your thoughts on what your thoughts are as what this young man is kind of going through.
Mom told me you're working on a science project at school.
It's nothing. Made a volcano.
Well, how'd you make it?
Out of stuff.
That kid Coogie? Let's discuss him. He wasn't your friend, but how did you feel seeing him get shot? It's totally okay to feel bad when somebody dies. Well, what about the gun incident? You were in a scuffle, you fired the gun, and shot someone?
Yeah. Am I going to jail for that?
No, you're not going to jail, Kevin. Is that a concern for you? You know, like volcanoes, humans can have eruptions in their lives. Moments that make us feel off-center. Hey, Kevin, what do you want to be when you grow up? Have you thought about that? Is science your thing? Or perhaps math?
Like basketball. Video games, drawing. Probably do something like that if I grow up.
Well, that's an interesting thing to say. If I grow up.
So I wanted to share that particular video. Sorry for some of the cutting in and out, but in the video, the young man had been involved by seeing one of his friends in the neighborhood get shot and killed, and then as a result, the person that he saw do it, he was attacked by this man, and he ended up shooting the man. The man did not die, but it was traumatic for him on both ends to see somebody that he knows get killed by somebody that he knew, and then for him to actually protect himself and end up shooting someone. And to the point where at his young age, when she asked him, what does he want to do? He says, well, if I grow up. And I know we're seeing a lot of that in all of our various areas. I want to lean on Brother Whitaker for a minute. What are your thoughts in young people in these situations? Because when we were growing up, killing and all that kind of stuff was really just in the movies, for most of us. It wasn't something that we actually saw on a consistent basis. I know I didn't. I never saw anybody get killed when I was in grade school or high school or even college for that matter. But Brother Whitaker, your thoughts on the level of trauma that the young people are going through today, and just...
All right. I saw that. I actually saw that episode when that happened. So to talk about the kid, yeah, it was a lot of trauma because he saw this man kill this kid, but he never told, and that's something he was struggling with. And then to be attacked by the guy, because he had a gun, he wanted to protect himself, and then he shot the guy, but he never told in the first place that this was the man who killed Coogie, right? So he's carrying that fear because he's from Chicago, right? So you don't rat, you don't tell. So he's carrying that. I grew up like at the age of 15, I was shot. I'm from Camden. I was born and raised in the city of Camden, and at 15, I was shot. And my way out was through the military. So I've seen, like, when I was in grade school, one of our grade school friends was killed. So I kind of could relate to what this young man was going through. And now he's sitting there in his therapy session, right? And this lady is talking to him, and she's making all these assumptions about what's going on. But for him, in his world, right, in his world, in his reality, those are not assumptions. This is, he's like, you don't got a clue. You don't know what my day-to-day life is like. So I kind of laughed, like, when I actually saw the episode, because, she doesn't have a foggiest idea what this guy is actually going through in his day-to-day life. And, she's talking to him like he has a choice in what this choice of what he wants to do and become is like optional. Like he doesn't have to fight for it. It's going to be handed to him. And that's why he said, well, I live. You think that I have an option. It's a day-to-day struggle. And that's what it's like for a lot of these kids, especially up North Jersey and down in South Jersey, a lot of these gang violence. And it's a lot different from when we were kids, right? These kids are faced with this on a day-to-day where, think about it, these kids got metal detectors in school. They got police officers in school now. They didn't have that when I was coming up. Kids got to go through a metal detector just to get into the high school. I had an 11-year-old kid tell me in session that he was afraid to fight because he was afraid to lose his life in class. Like somebody would stab him, So he'd rather let the kids beat on him than protect himself out of fear of losing his life. So to them, this is their reality. You hear me, I'm passionate about it because this is like our reality versus their reality. Their day-to-day is like a struggle. And that's what they're faced with. And with the Coach Brown, I wanted to say that the one thing will make your job special, you're genuine. The kids can pick up on that. Kids know who's genuine, who's not. And that makes a world of a difference in their lives today. I mean, if you want to connect in your mentoring program, you know, make sure the bros they're going to be genuine about what they're going to do. If they're not going to be genuine and really concerned about doing this, then they don't need to be doing it.
Gotcha.
Because what's going to happen is the kids are going to say, this is not real. They're fake. They're phony. They don't care about me. So why am I going to participate? So that's what they're looking for, that genuine connection. And Brother Brown said it's love, right? That's what he said. That love, that genuine. That is a major component. And I'm sorry that I went on, but
It's all good,
that
brother. That's
yes,
why we asked you to come
thank
on and
you.
talk, and we definitely appreciate your talk. I want to go to Bobby Brown, and I'm going to end with Brother Ron. Brother Brown, I know you're seeing this in East Orange and in the other places that you're coaching. What say you as relates to the example? Or are you dealing with similar stuff coaching the kids you're coaching in the various sports?
Absolutely. What also struck me is they asked him what he wanted to be. He said, "Well, I like basketball." I see that in sports a lot. That they, my kids, being that they here, can see as far as whatever the end goal is for the sport. And I said, okay, well, even LeBron James, having played what seems like forever, is going to be done with basketball one day. Even Jerry Rice, who played for 20 years, he's going to be done with football one day. What do you want to do after that? And they struggle with it. And I have to remind myself that at the now ripe old age of 45, when I was coming up, I didn't know what it meant to be 45. I didn't look beyond a certain age. And I said, basically echoed those same words, because what was around me in the Northwest section of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, it wasn't people graduating from Ivy League schools. My brother and I decided to do something different. And thank God that we had a mother that put us in the headlock and prayed for us and took us to church all the time. And we got it done. But what I didn't have is a roadmap to 45. I saw myself, getting as far as football would take me. And then for me, I didn't know what it looked like after that. So I can relate and empathize with these kids when I'm talking to them. And really what it is, and I've been blessed enough, not only as a lawyer, but also having worked in finances, to see just how bad Black families are when it comes to generational wealth. And some of it is, not having the know-how on the financial side, but some of it is a lot of us don't see ourselves growing into 70 and 80 years old because of what we're surrounded by. Mm-hmm. And that is a challenge, to be honest with you. And I had to break down those barriers for myself. And what I do is I'm just, again, genuine. I tell the kids the same thing, man. At your age, man, I never thought I'd be 40-something years old. I never saw it either. So what we have to do is just give them the glimpse into what it could be. And as now a 45-year-old man, I gotta say, man, at 45, bro, I'm not going out there playing football no more. But I still gotta take care of my life. I still gotta take care of my family. I still gotta be a part of the community. So it's the plan that you put in place now that's gonna get you there. And again, I'm just blessed, man, to tell these kids, I'm proof of what it can be, because I outlived my own circumstances in my brain. And so if I can do it, you can too. So make sure you at least have some idea what you want to do whenever you're done with football. I'm not there to tell them, man, you ain't going to be in the NFL. You're not going to be in it. Yes, you are. You're going to be in the NFL. You're going to be in the NBA. But that's not where the sentence ends. It's a part of the sentence. And then we got to talk about what you're going to do afterwards.
Brother, I just admire, man. Every time I think about, the brothers that you've played with and the teams that you've played on, and how humble that you are staying in the mix, staying in the community, continue to work with the young people, helping. Every time we call from the mentor perspective, you're always there. And I couldn't have ended with a better brother, my line brother, who is the most organized brother I've ever met in my life. And
the rock. Go ahead, the rock.
He's doing it on the financial end as well as on the yoga end. So I want to end Brother Ron, with you as it relates to kind of bringing it home, because, yoga is something that is in the grasp. It's something that everybody can do, and bring it home for us and help us kind of understand how you can kind of take some of these things and manage your circumstances.
Yeah, like Brother Whitaker was saying, the anxiety that young men feel, especially, he got shot at the age of 15. I've been shot at. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, so I've been shot at before. People have pulled out guns. I've been in stressful situations, and when you come from an environment like that, the level of stress is unbelievable for a young person, that especially a teenager. This Friday, I'm going to my class reunion, and 3 out of the 4 of us played football for Pop Warner coach, and our life, basically, he changed that. And this was 40 years ago, more than 40 years. And that Pop Warner coach changed a lot of our life, through he wasn't the type of coach to grab your face mask. But he would every so often, but he did everything like Brother Brown said, with love. You know that he did it with love. And it was something that we always talk about him. And it's important to have someone in your inner circle, or someone sort of mentor that can bring that kind of love to a young man. The thing is that I would love to see yoga become more mainstream. I would love to see that happen. And I think it would help a lot of people who aren't as athletic. There are a lot of kids who don't play football, who don't play basketball, who need something else to relieve some of that stress and anxiety that they have, especially in the inner cities, especially, around the way, around in Brooklyn. They need that, but they see yoga as not something as being very masculine. And if somehow that can be brought to the mainstream as being, something that they can hold on to, and especially meditation, that is something that all people, I don't care who you are, you need meditation. A lot of the churches, a lot of people talk about prayer and the faith and faith-based, and it all stems. If you're a Christian, that Jesus meditated. If you're a Hindu, the meditation there. If you're Buddhist, there's meditation there. In every aspect of religion, there's meditation. But you don't have to be religious to meditate.
Gotcha.
You don't have to be. And that's a beautiful part of meditation, and it brings you, it reduces anxiety, it reduces stress, and it teaches you how to breathe. No one who's angry anybody who's angry, you can see the change in their breath. Mm-hmm. They're angry. If you're triggered, your breath changes. Everything that happens, if you look at a child, when they're pissed off, man, their breathing is all over the place. They're ready to fight. So what we need to do, if we can, is to just teach kids how to meditate, even in kindergarten. Bring it from that age so they can take it with them going forward into especially their teenage years. Make that something that kids love to do, and that can change their lives, especially with the amount of stress, the amount of suicide that's going on with a lot of these young people, and with older people. Anybody and everybody needs some sort of ability to learn how to meditate, and I think it's just super important to have that.
Great. Well, brothers, we went a little over time today, but I appreciate Brother Darius giving us the extra time. I appreciate each one of you taking out of your busy time. Brother Whitaker has got like 50 clients that he's got to get that information in tonight, probably. Brother Brown is just getting back from track practice. And Brother Ron, I know you had a busy day on Wall Street yourself. So I really appreciate your time coming in as it relates to what's next for us. Brothers, on April the 30th, we will be in a room of over 100 young people and over 25, 30 bros that will be there doing yoga, talking about this. So we're going to break that stigma of mental health therapy right then and there. and we're going to be doing a series of programming throughout the summer to kind of work with coaches on the Pop Warner level. On Brother Ron, we want to get you out there to teach coaches how to use yoga and breathing and meditation, because a lot of the coaches don't know how to do it because they don't do it in their own lives.
Right.
But we're going to be engaging you in those perspectives. Brother Whittick, I can guarantee you, you're going to start getting referrals from young Black boys to kind of come through. Hopefully, you'll have the space in your busy career to deal with some of them, or at least recommend other therapists to kind of come through. So, brothers, with that said, I want to thank you all for coming out, participating in this activity. Looking really forward to seeing you at the the Hilton Meadowlands Hotel on April 30th. We're at 2:00 to 4:00. And it is the 74th 2nd District Conference that we look forward to. So with that said, Darius, I want to thank you for giving us the extra time, and peace and love to everybody out there. Talk with you brothers later.
All right.
Okay.